Hello and welcome to another Ben Code Swift programming tutorial in the Ben Code Swift programming series. And today we're going to be continuing our discussion on delegates and protocols by looking into how table views work and creating our first table view. So obviously if you open to an iOS app and you're talking about creating a new project, you've got a pretty good selection of sort of project templates. And obviously the master detail comes with a table view already configured in a navigation controller with that, but we're not going to be using that today. We're going to go right into a single view application and go through this process manually so that we can better understand how it works. And we're going to use the iPhone just so to make it a little bit easier as far as we can see things on the screen better and so on. And I'm just going to call this table view test. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the to the view controller .swift file. And we're going to want to do first. We're going to want to create our outlet for our table view. Create a practical mark here. So we're going to create our outlet variable. Calling table view of type UI table view. Okay. So now what we're going to want to do is we talked about delegates and stuff like that, and so basically this view controller file is going to be sort of the controller of the table view as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to conform this class to a couple of delegates, so a couple of protocols that deal with table views, so that we can basically have it operate our table view. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to have it incorporate UI table view delegate. And the second one is UI table view data source. And obviously the error will be thrown because it wants us to conform. So now I've created some space there. We're going to need to override a couple of methods here to make ourselves conform to the UI table view delegate and UI table view data source protocols. So the first one we're going to override is called so it's table view, and we're going to implement the number of rows in section. Scroll down our list here. Perfect. We actually don't need to override that. So as you can see, basically, this returns that for a UI table view, number of rows in section, so it takes in an integer called section as a parameter, takes in a table view, obviously, and it returns an integer. And so basically you say, okay, number of rows in section. So what that means is if I go to our main.storyboard file, and I'm going to just resize this there, and find a table view. So if I put if I were to put static styles in, there's two types of styles. This is the plain style, which means nothing's separated. It's just a massive list. But there's also the grouped style, which means things, as you can see, there's a lot of space here. there's space between. See, there's gray area. So you can have multiple sections, so there'll be gray area between each section in order to separate them from each other. And that's basically the difference between the group style or just the, let me show you how we can change it again. So you go our group style to our plain style. And then you can put a more separator into, and so on and so on. In any case, we're going to keep implementing our method. So for now, I'm just going to return 0 here. The next one we're going to implement is function is the cell for row at index path. So this one just lets the table view know how many rows are going to be in are part of a certain section. This one returns which cell. So basically, if the person clicks a certain cell or a certain index, this method will return the actual cell so that you can grab data from it and whatnot. And the next one, we're just going to return Unit Table View Cell blank one. And then the next one is just going to be the did select row at index path. Perfect. And so this one, as you can see, it doesn't return anything. It's just lets this function know that the user selected a certain row at a certain index. And so now what we're going to do, sorry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the view controller here and we're going to connect everything. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click the table view and we're going to here, just make sure you have the actual table view itself and not some of the prototype cells. And you're going to want to take data source, connect that to your view controller. Take delegate, connect that to your view controller. Remember, we implemented both of these in the class header and in the class declaration line. We implemented the data source delegate and the table view delegate. And then you're going to take the referencing outlet and connect that also to the view controller and select table views to set what you want. As you can see, I'll have connected table view as the outlet here. Perfect. So now we're going to go back to the view controller file. We're going to go to the view.load method. But after the super.view.load here, we're going to type table view. We're going to call the register class file. We're going to use sorry. We're going to use UI table view cell. Self. Sorry, this should be for cell reuse identifier. And just pass in a string called cell. There we go. So now we're going to start adding our data. Well, first I'm going to do is create up here. I'm just going to create an array of type string. Var items. And we'll pass in some you know what, let's make it a grocery list, as we like to do. Eggs, milk, flour, baking soda, steak, cheese, and you get the point. Perfect. And so now what we're going to want to do is we're going to set the number of rows. But you know, as you remember, we already returned that as 0, but what we're going to do, and we're going to have it not a group, we're going to have it a plain style, so we don't need to separate it out by section. But we're going to just return the count of the items. We're just going to items.count. That way it's sort of dynamic. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to sort of create this cell, which is pretty easy. So in the cell for row at index path method, which is this one here, we're going to create a cell. So we're going to go var cell of type UI table view cell. Because what we need to do here is we need to sort of create a UI table view cell, and with the layout and everything like that, and then we're just going to return that, so it knows which one, it knows sort of the design and everything. And so we're going to set it equal to table view dot decreasable cell with identifier cell. And we're going to cast that as a UI table view cell. Perfect. And so basically, what this method here does is it's it just sort of returns a that's how we'll describe it. It returns a reusable table view cell object located by its identifier called cell. So as you can see, for cell reuse identifier up here, we declared cell. So by passing this in, we know that we want to connect it to this cell, which is basically saying that we want all of our cells to be the same. To like look the same. You know, it'd be kind of crazy if they all had different formatting. One had only one line of text, and it, you know, it just so that's why you let you reuse cells. And so basically, we're just going to go cell dot text label. It's an optional here because you don't need text. Dot text. We're going to set it equal to perfect. So what this is going to, sorry about that. So what this is doing here is we're just going to set the text of the cell to whatever is in that index in our items array, and we're just going to return that cell now. So this is us just creating that cell. I got an error here somewhere. Oh, and sorry, so just make sure to make that dynamic prototypes here, and you should be fine. And so yeah, so there's more we can do with table views, obviously a lot more we can do, but we're just going to, this is just going to be part 1 of our UI table views just because we're getting up to the time. I'm also going to deploy this onto an iPhone 5S. Oh, it's too late. Sorry. This is from another tutorial. I'm going to deploy this onto an iPhone 5S. So we can see it all together. Perfect. And so as you can see, now that we've launched, we have our table view filled in with our items.